So for the 80th time, happy birthday.
Thank you.
It was August 19th?
August 19th was my real birthday, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been the last couple of weeks.
So it's the day after Never Give Up Day, which is going to come back and haunt you in a second.
really?
Yes, Never Give Up Day is a day which internationally where people celebrate persistence of the human spirit.
Oh, I wish I'd known about that, because I think persistence is one of the major qualities you have to have in life. So good for you.
Well, I'm here to challenge your principles. So
Please.
we'll see how it goes.
Go ahead.
But in your book and beyond, right? You talk about and you recognize the value of persistence, and I guess it's success principle number 30.
I love how you all know my numbers, but I don't know those numbers. But go ahead.
30. Take my word for it.
I trust you.
Yeah, it's the magic age. It's also
Keep saying it, persisting, and I'll believe you.
and you will agree. You'll agree, exactly. So my work is as an intellectual property attorney.
Oh, cool.
And in my work, I have many clients who face all different kinds of obstacles. One of the common obstacles is someone else has prior rights that block them.
Right.
And some of those clients, they give up. They elect not to pursue it despite my encouragement. And so I was looking at your principle of persistence and thinking, when, if ever, is persistence maybe foolish? When is pursuing something at all costs maybe too high a cost? And how would you evaluate that?
Well, it's an evaluative process. You can approach it a couple of ways. You can approach it intellectually. Here's the pros, here's the cons. That kind of thing. We do that. We all learn to do that. Costs and benefits and so forth. I approach it more now internally as a kind of spiritual meditation kind of question. What I would ask in meditation: what is the best path to take right now? And sometimes it says disengage. I've been divorced. I was the one who asked for it. It was disengaged. This is no longer fun. It's not helping her. It's not helping me. So it was like, the Tibetans talk about, climbing up Mount Everest. There's times when the mountain's too hard. You got to get off. There's a storm coming through. And we all see these movies about people who froze to death up there. So that kind of persistence is foolhardy. And I think sometimes you have to be able to let go in life as well as to grab on, and a lot of people sometimes hang on to something so long. What's coming to mind right now is it's a little bit different, but this woman I was just doing an evening workshop in like Cincinnati or something, and she came up and she said, you talked about letting go and forgiving, and she said, I can't. I said, well, what's going on? Well, my dad died 15 years ago and he left my sister twice as much money as me. And I'm still pissed at her. I won't talk to her. I won't talk to him. And I said, 15 years ago? He said, like, how often do you think about that every day? He said, it's just always on my mind. I said, well, that sucks. I said, you got screwed once by your dad, and now you're screwing yourself every day for 15 years. Who's the bigger rapist, So it's like, well, think about that, We beat ourselves up over time. So I think the reality is there are times to let go, to get off the mountain, to realize this is too hard. It's not the path for me. Everything in me, my body's telling me no, I'm sick. There's a lot of markers, if you will, to pay attention to. So I think determination, like with Chicken Soup for the Soul, 144 rejections hung in there, paid off, If I had stopped at 100, we'd not be sitting here tonight. But maybe there's a time at 200 I should have said, this isn't going to work out. I don't know. So I can't answer that, how I would have done that. But I knew in my heart of hearts this was supposed to happen. If I had to self-publish it, I would have. I didn't want to be a publisher, but I would have. And then there's times to walk away from things. I'm like slowing down my company. I may let go of like 90% of the people that work for me. And that's a little challenging because they've been working with me some 25 years and so forth. But there's a big part of me saying, let go of what you've created because it's not serving you as much as it used to. And whether that leads to something else, like I'm going to go sit in a cabin in Minnesota and counsel 3 people a year, I don't think so. But the point is, I don't know. But I can't know until I let go of the trapeze, So it's like give myself permission to be in that space of not knowing. And I would tell you, for most people in Western culture, not knowing is very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable for people. So they want to pretend they know. I have to share with you an IP story, since you're an intellectual property lawyer. So we had a poem that was written and submitted by somebody. And it was a poem about walking down the beach, and there was like 4 legs, and this woman thought, I can't remember the poetry of it, but like, God was walking with her, and all of a sudden it was only 2 legs, and she felt abandoned. And then God says, no, that was me carrying you, And so it was a great poem. And this one woman submitted it, and we used to have a thing saying, do you own this copyright, blah, 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 and is it a true story, and whatever. And she owned it. And then this woman from Canada said she owned it. There's this woman in Canada had the IP in Canada for the same exact words as the woman down here had the copyright for the same words in America. Now, what the hell do I do? It's like we couldn't publish the poem. But it's an interesting world you play in, for sure.
Definitely, lots of things like that come up all the time.
Yeah.
It's, when you have the energy to pursue something, to defend something, how much, I guess, like you said, kind of going back to your gut, how much you feel in your gut you should do it.
Right.
And
Right.
sometimes I feel like they should do more, but their heart's not in it, or
Right.
vice versa.
Well, I've seen people hang on to something and push something, whether it was legally or otherwise, that they should have let go of because it just was killing them. I mean, I've seen people lose their homes over being right, and like, that's not good.
Clearly.
Anyway, keep up the good work.
Thanks so much
for the question.